Welcome to Success Leaves Clues podcast, where I find regular people doing extraordinary and phenomenal things in corporate America and entrepreneurship. And of course, I'm your host, Dr. K. I have with me today a brother of mine, Carl Gassoway. This brother is somebody y'all are going to learn a lot from. He is an entrepreneur. He is an investor, a real estate investor, and market investor. He's got so much going on. I'm going to let him break it down for you and tell you all about himself.
Hey, thank you for having me on here, brother. I'm really enjoying what you're doing. I've been watching you, man, and I'm very proud of you, man, because I know where you came from, and to see other brothers and sisters like your wife out there getting up, getting it, and not having anything handed to them, man, that's so motivational, man. So let's get to it.
Yeah, definitely. We've been on this journey for a while. This is a lifelong friend of mine. I think we've probably been together knocking on 20 years. We're getting old. This has been about 10, 15 years, something like that.
Yeah, this Beijing be trying to hide stuff, but but yeah, man, it's been a while. And like I said, man, I remember when we met in Korea, in South Korea, man. And I remember, trying to put in resumes for a job, and I got the little job at the hospital, and I probably was the lowest paid person in the hospital.
Wow.
But I started off as a volunteer, Red Cross volunteer, and they liked my work ethics, and they eventually gave me a position. So I was really, really excited about that position or whatever, but it was just putting me in position to do something bigger. That's how I met you. That's how I met your wife and everything in South Korea. So since then it's just been all about growth and self-development.
Pause right there for a minute, because you just hit on something that I don't think a lot of people really focus on when they're in their current situation. So first of all, I knew you worked at the hospital. I thought you ran the hospital. The way you ran around there, you knew everybody. You was networked with the highest level executives in the hospital. You knew everybody from the janitor to, like I say, the executive, right? And nobody would ever know that you weren't in a higher position, because I didn't know until you just mentioned it right now.
Right.
So how do you keep a mentality like that even when you're in a position that you're better than?
I learned a long time ago about posture. You can be, like I said, you can be the brokest person at the job, but no one ever know. Only thing people know is what you tell them. So if you present yourself as something, as what you see yourself as, then you will attract those type of people. And that has always been to attract people that I would like to exchange bank accounts with. So I always tried to carry myself, no matter if I was making minimum wage or the top pay of the job. I always wanted to carry myself in a respectful way where, but as far as the janitor, and I always try to respect everybody as if they ran the show.
Yeah.
So,
and I always look at it like that too, because you honestly don't know who you're talking to.
Right.
So, some people might, look at somebody that they feel they are better than.
Yeah.
And come to find out you're talking to somebody who actually runs the company. Even be it a janitor, there are people who run janitorial services and companies who do those type of services, and they make a killing. So you're looking down on that person, but you don't really know what they have to offer and their story.
Right. You never know. That janitor may know someone that can put you in position. So you want to respect that janitor, because he may not be the janitor because he needed that job. He may be a janitor because he's retired from somewhere and he just wants something to do. So I look at it like that, man. But I try to build relationships with everybody, because you never know who you approaching that can take you to that next level, or you can just be an inspiration to that person. So it's not all about just taking from people. Sometimes, just give back to some, even if it's just encouraging words.
Definitely. While you was in that position and other positions like that earlier in your career, you said you knew that job was going to propel you somewhere else. And how do you keep that kind of energy, that kind of focus?
Vision. I wake up every morning and ask myself, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And if it don't get me excited, then I need to reevaluate my goals. Just knowing that there's a lot of successful people in this world, successful because of the relationships they have built with somebody else, and I always I even teach my kids about networking. Your network is your net worth, and building relationships are very, very important. So I think about something bigger than me. My kids are my inspiration. My wife, if it wasn't for those guys, I don't think I would push as hard as I do. So I think that's what keeps me going. You always got to look at who's watching you. And for me, my kids are watching me. They watching how their daddy move, and things of that nature,
Well, your kids aren't the only ones watching you, because I've been watching you for a long time. You've been a real inspiration to me. And I have a competitive nature, right? So
Right.
we used to play ball and everything like that. Well, I done kind of hung mine up. You still play ball. You be out there hooping.
I thought you was gonna say something about dominoes, so I'm glad you didn't.
I'll bring that up too.
Well, you beat the hell out of me in dominoes, so I never forget that. And the payback is but we'll get there.
I got you.
But yeah, man, that's what really, above everything else, my kids, because for me, I can't tell my kids go out there and do A, B, and C if I ain't never did A, B, and C.
Yeah.
So like when I graduated my last time from massage therapy, I don't even practice massage therapy, but I did that because I wanted to get high honors when I graduated, so I can then tell my kids, hey, don't just graduate, do it big if you're gonna do it. So I don't teach them to major in the average, don't be average, man, be above average.
Wait, so hold on. You went through and got a higher education simply so you could tell your kids that you've been through it and you can relate to what they're doing, and not only did it, but did it to the highest level.
What is it? Magnum cum laude, summa cum laude, whichever one is the highest one. I graduated that. I put it on Facebook Live, so my family that couldn't be there can see it. But for the most part, I did it because of my kids, and I want them to, like I said, don't just hit your goal, but exceed that that level. So that's why I did it, man. I had no intentions on rubbing people's feet down and lesson as my wife or whatever, because I got a weak stomach and some people ain't got good personal hygiene. So
yeah, I know your wife's probably grateful though. I know it's paying off dividends for her.
She is. She don't give me no tip or anything, but yeah, but it's all good though, man. Happy wife, happy life.
So tell me about the transition, because it seems like you've been an entrepreneur forever. You've got an enormous successful business. You help, thousands of people. But before that, how did you transition from that employee into entrepreneurship?
So even when I met you at the hospital, I was selling, I think, Avon or Mary Kay. But my wife told me, yeah, you gotta leave that alone. I don't think they call them about no Avon, no skin so soft. So I left that alone. Our next duty station, we went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. That's when I got into the travel industry with network marketing. Now, I've always been the type to say that sound like a pyramid, got involved with that. And then by just surrounding myself with a different type of people and start to read self development books, like it really changed my mindset. And I no longer wanted to exchange hours for wages. I wanted to have a system put in place where I can get paid while I sleep. So I really got to give it up to some people I ran across in network marketing that really changed my whole mindset about how to really live instead of just go through the motions existing. So network marketing for me, it was the travel industry, and from there I went into a credit network marketing company. The
Okay.
reason why I left that company, man, is I'm big on if I bring somebody to you, treat them right.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the fact that people was coming back to me complaining about, listen, I called them, the people was gnashing me on the phone and all that stuff. It just didn't set right with me. And that's when my wife came to me and said, you need to start your own company.
Wow.
And ever since then, everything that I liked about that company, I tried to add into my company. Everything I didn't like, I made sure that didn't exist. So I was afraid, but Steve Harvey say, if you don't jump, you'll never know if your parachute will open.
I know.
So I took a leap of faith, man, and I did not know if I was going to be successful. I've never ran my own business before, but I thought of it like this: I never know if I'll be successful if I don't try. So initially, I just wanted to try, and I started off helping my family members with their credit for free, just till I got the hang of it, and then I started reading up on credit repair, and before you know it, I got real good. I think I got real good. And to the point where I no longer wanted to do it for free because people was coming, some family members was coming to me like, hey, fix mine, fix mine. You know how family do.
Yeah. So all the businesses you've had have really helped people. It's really they've been service industry things that really give back to people and have impacted their lives.
Mhm.
But probably not a whole lot more than this business right now, your House of Diamonds. So the credit consulting is truly changing people's lives. Like
Right.
it allowing people to get into a home, allowing people to get credit cards with better interest rates, allowing people to get into a vehicle. And then you even have ways of turning that credit into investments and things like that, like you do personally.
Right. Right. And it started off, I'm gonna be transparent as possible.
Yeah.
It started off about being excited about getting paid, and to the point where people would send me messages and they will be so emotional about finally getting approved for their first brand new car. It's always been a used car, a lemon or something, but finally getting approved for their first car, or having their own home where you don't have to have a slumlord.
Wow.
Your kids are no longer sharing rooms and stuff. Everybody got their own room. You got a backyard where you can get the dog in a backyard fenced up, all that good stuff, man. Like I think that was the transition point for me where it wasn't just about the money no more. It was really about helping people change their whole life. And from that point, man, I vowed to, hey, it's all about educating these clients or whatever. So to this day, Kev, I still educate myself on credit because it's always more stuff out there that you can learn about credit. I didn't know it was so much to know about credit, man.
Yeah.
You know.
So tell us how somebody who right now is going through that struggle that you just described, and every morning they're waking up and they're dreaming, okay, I want to get out of this slumlord situation, or maybe they're living with a family member and they're like, look, I would love to buy a home. What would you direct them to do first after, I mean, obviously contacting you and
Right.
and getting a consultation, but what's something that they could start with?
Okay, so the first thing I would say is change your mindset. I've been doing this credit business for a while, and what I've noticed, there are very few people that come to me with the right mindset. A lot of times people want a quick fix. It's not about that quick fix. Like, you got to understand how you got in this situation and how we're going to get you out of the situation and keep you out of the situation. And the second thing is you got to be willing to invest in your future. Like, if you see yourself, if you on your dream board, you see this 5-bedroom for your family and all this stuff, you have to be willing to invest, because if you can't afford credit repair, you can't afford that 5-bedroom.
Ooh. Okay.
So you got to make sure your mindset line up with those goals, and you got to be realistic.
So you're seeing credit repair as an investment in you personally.
Yes, it is, because credit is basically credibility. Credit is your buying power. If you want to be able to use other people's monies to fund your business, to fund your lifestyle, you have to make sure you are credible. If on your credit report all you have is late payments, collections, that's like a financial report card similar to it. Because now they're saying that your payment history is not that good. So in order to correct that, you have to be willing to pay somebody, hire somebody to not only delete negative items from you, but you need to be going on a educational journey, and if you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to make that investment in your future, then you might as well forget about your goals.
Wow. So you brought something up that just caught me. So
Okay.
I was thinking about the investment that you're talking about, investing in yourself for credit repair,
Right.
as the monetary amount, right? So if I got to pay for a credit service and it's X amount of dollars and I'm paying that either a lump sum or monthly, then a lot of people hesitate towards making that investment in themselves.
Right.
But what I just caught is that you got to make the educational investment into yourself as well. You got to be willing to learn how to kind of reverse the bad things you've been taught or the bad habits you've had that got you into that situation. So that's what you're also talking about, the educational investment.
I've had so many people argue me down about a credit card. I don't want no credit card. I don't believe in a credit card. And I always say a credit card is like a gun.
Okay.
It's only dangerous depending on who hand is in. You can use that same credit card and start building and establishing credit. Like I always refer some clients to Self. It's a credit card company. Basically, they don't run a credit check or anything like that. Okay. But with Self, you make a small investment and you make investment for about 2 years. After those 2 years up, you will get all your money back and you have 2 years of established credit.
Wow. Okay.
There's several credit card companies I send clients to that does that. Here's the problem. Clients start seeing their credit card increase, the amount increase, and they go crazy. So you got to have that discipline and you got to be locked in, because just because you've never had a $500 credit card and now you got a $500 credit card, now you're in Victoria's Secret and you buying up all the panties, the underwear and everything. You gotta have that discipline. Get you a few pair of underwear out of Victoria's Secret or whatever you shopping for, and then make sure you pay it off. I talk to clients all the time about understanding the due date and the statement date. You don't want to have your card maxed out on the statement date, because that's the date that the the creditor will report to the credit bureaus.
Wait, back up. All right. Explain that again. There's two.
Okay. So you have the due date, the date that your bill is due.
Okay.
And you have the statement date. So you want to make sure on the statement date that your card is not maxed out, because that's going to be reported to the credit bureau. So on your bill, when you see the statement date, you want to make sure by the time that statement date hits, your limit on your card is very low. You don't owe a lot.
All right. So then that's the actual item or the data that's going to get reported.
Yes. Okay. On the statement date.
All right. So should you be paying it twice, or do you still pay it one time, but just before that statement date?
Right. So whether you pay it one time or two times, you just want to make sure on that date that that limit is not maxed out, not over 30%. Like you want to have it as low as possible on that date.
Okay. And so you talked about, like, somebody has a credit card, they're starting to establish credit. Now they're getting higher limits, and they might go into whatever retail store, Victoria's Secrets or something.
Right.
So what is the proper way that they should be utilizing a credit card?
Everybody's situation is different, depending on how much income you got coming in. So, for example, if I have a $200 card, whether it's Hibbits or whatever, Champs, whatever, I know I get paid on what date I get paid. So if I don't get paid until after the statement date, I should not be maxing out this card or putting too much money on this card. Okay. By the statement date, you want to have a low limit. So if I want to get a pair of shoes, get those pair of shoes or whatever, and pay that card off. That way you can keep that limit low.
All right. And then that's all about, again, like you said, it comes back to the discipline, because you're going to see, you might see, just for the sake of an easy example, you might have $1,000.
Right.
Right. And then you, instead of spending all of that $1,000, maybe you say, okay, I'm going to spend $300-400, and I'm going to pretend like this remaining $600-700 doesn't exist.
Yeah, I've seen people do that and pay the bare minimum every single month, and wonder why their score is dropping. You done maxed out your card, and the only thing keeping you in the game is at least you're making your minimum payments. So now you're not getting no late payments. Okay. But at the same time, your score is dropping because you done went over that 30% availability. So you don't want to get carried away with it.
So what's the 30% you're talking about?
So, for example, if you got a $200 limit on your credit card, you don't want to go over 30% of that.
Okay.
If you go over 30% of that, then you'll get you might get an email saying, I know for self, it'll send you an email if you 30% over, 50% over. They're basically saying, hey, this is a red flag for us. Like you're high risk.
So they want you to always stay under
30%.
Right. Okay. All right. Wow. I'm learning a lot, man.
So check this out, Kim. So I always have to explain this to clients. A lot of times clients say, well, my friend told me about this card, so I'm just going to get on this card. You want to be careful about opening up too many new accounts. Yeah. Keep in mind that these new accounts go against your average age credit. So if I have a client and they have too many new accounts, first thing I ask them is, hey, do you have a grandparent or a parent that's had a credit card and they've been paying on this credit card for a long period of time with no late payments? It's better for them to be added as an authorized user on that card. Because, for example, if my mother had a card for 20 years and she has a $50,000 limit on there, well, by me being added as an authorized user on her card, now it's showing that I have $50,000 available to me on my credit report.
So you're leveraging the report and the credit they have.
Exactly. And now it's going to show on my credit report that I've been with this, that I have an average of 20 years also.
And so how long does it take for something like that to take effect?
I've seen it take effect in 60 days, 45 days. It just depends. A lot of stuff has changed since COVID hit.
So how do I explain something like that to a parent or a grandparent or somebody who has that established credit? Because I know my number one concern would be, you're not about to mess my credit up, or you're not about to spend up my card. So how do they go about?
Just let them know that you're just being added on as an authorized user. They can set limitations on there. Like, for example, you don't have to have access to a card. You're just an authorized user.
Okay.
So it basically, you're just using it for credit purposes. You don't want to use their card. You don't want to go shopping. You're just using it to help you boost up your credit score.
Okay.
All right. So I would recommend being an authorized user and getting and having somebody with 10, 20 years of history on that card versus opening up a brand new account. And now you ask me, okay, why my credit dropped? You keep opening up these brand new accounts. You want your credit average history needs to be at least 10 years. Okay. And I'm getting people that have 1.5 to 3 years of average credit history.
Okay. But if you're brand new or you're just now establishing, how do you get to 10 years if you've only, I'm failing the class, man.
Don't worry about
authorized user. It's blowing my mind, man. It's blowing my mind.
And see, a lot of people don't know that though. But some people think they're helping their credit score by just opening up all these brand new accounts. No, you're hurting it.
So you're not only getting the credit and the good payment history. You're also getting the age of that account.
The age also. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. So when I posted on, and it went viral, when I posted on TikTok about it was a guy from Earned. What is it? Earned. I can't think of those brothers, but they do a podcast. Yes.
Yeah.
And I took their voice and I added my video to it. And it was the guy was basically saying that if I add you to my card, it's only going to be for 60 days, but you're going to pay me $650. I have 10 spots. So I have 10 people paying me $650 every 60 days. I was getting responses on there like, who would pay $650 to be added as authorized user? And you don't even get access to the card. That's because a person doesn't understand. It's not about having access to the card. It's about getting a credit boost.
Okay. So that's so you're saying that's something that you would offer to a client, that service? Or how are you saying?
No, if you get your credit together and you start getting cards and stuff like that, and now you're in position because your credit is on point, now you can offer that service. Hey, I add you as an authorized user, but
so
you don't pay me.
Exactly.
Okay. Exactly. So basically, the title was "Pimp Your Good Credit." That was the title.
Okay.
So I was basically saying that, look, you can use your good credit, and people will pay you to be an authorized user on your card, and you can get paid because you discipline and you have good credit.
Yeah.
Okay. And
so there's no better way than seeing your hard work pay off, right?
Exactly.
But over the years, you've been doing the right thing. You've built up this name, right? Because your name is really what it's going on.
Right.
Your report card, like you were saying earlier.
Right.
So now,
exactly.
Man, I wish I could have had that in school, man. Leverage somebody else's report card.
And here's how I look at it. When people ask me why is credit so important?
Yeah.
If you're gonna buy a house and you don't have $300, $400, $500,000 in your account, but that's how much that house costs.
Okay.
Why not use other people's money, credit, to get that house? That's all it is. Credit is only thing credit is other people's money. You have the credibility to go borrow this money. You're going to make those payments back, but at the same time, because of your payment history, they see that you're worthy of getting this money. Now your family is living in a better neighborhood, getting a better education because of the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Now you're putting your family in position to break generational curses.
Wow. All because you started with the cornerstone, right?
Exactly. It's like a prerequisite.
Yeah.
But that's why I get so excited about it, man. And a lot of times people don't understand the power of credit. Like, credit sounds like a boring subject until you in the dealership office and you got denied. After they didn't let you test drive that car, you didn't, that new car smell and you can't even take it home.
You done sniffed up the new car.
Yeah, you would sniff the new car. Look, it reversed by itself and everything, and you can't even take it home.
Oh man!
You on Facebook Live driving, and you got to go back home with that car you came there with.
Man,
so credit is a big deal, man. We didn't tap into my wife and I. We didn't tap into business credit, and she actually teaches clients how to structure their companies so they can get that business funding, and things like that. So we're constantly trying to go to another level of teaching, and it's all about education.
So what's the difference between you're saying business credit, personal credit? Is it leveraging? It's like a branch off of your personal credit, or how does that work?
So some companies look at your personal credit first to see if you'll get approved off in it. Like the vehicle, the work vehicle that we have, the business truck that we have, we put it in our business name on our LLC. They wanted to use our personal credit because if you don't have no business credit established, they have to look at something, still. But the difference that I've experienced is with business credit, it seems like you get a whole lot more money offered to you with business credit versus personal credit.
Okay.
It puts you in position to get these grants on what is called Small Business Administration.
Yeah.
All kind of stuff like that, man. So um, being on these different cars like Quill. Let's see, one of my favorite one is Home Depot, man.
Home Depot.
Yeah. So check this out. So we're in the real estate industry as well. So when we're fixing up a house, we pay cash to the employee, the contractor that's fixing up the house, but we actually use our Home Depot card to get all the material that we need. So we get to walk out of Home Depot with all the material we need and give it to the contractor and let the contractor do what he need to do. So it really, really helps out because you don't want to be spending all your money if you don't have to. Another thing that I like to do, say for example, if I get a bulk of items from Home Depot and I don't use them at all. Well, when you take that back to Home Depot, and they put it all back on your card, it looks as if you have paid this card off. So say for example, if you max this card out with all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you take it back within the time frame they tell you to. You take it back. They put all this back on your card. The Home Depot office look at it as you didn't paid off this card. So instead of calling to get a credit increase and let them run in your credit and you get a credit inquiry, now it's dropping your score a little bit.
Yeah.
Now they see that you're worthy because you always get a lump sum of stuff and you always pay it off. When really you just return their material.
Wow, man. And then I do have a pro account at Home Depot. So you leverage the pro account too, and then you combine that with the credit.
Exactly.
Oh man, no wonder y'all filthy rich, man. Y'all doing it right. Y'all doing the right thing.
I'm gonna tell you, we might not have no money in our pocket, but we got assets. And anytime you can sell them assets, and that's what I be trying to tell my people: get you some assets. You know, it don't matter what you got in your pocket because guess what? If you can put renters in these properties, they're gonna pay you residual every single month.
Yeah. One thing I remember about you, and I want to give you your credit.
Uh-oh.
You and your wife doing all the businesses y'all have, y'all do the real estate investing.
Right.
So not only you're buying holds, you flip properties, y'all was in Airbnb.
Still doing
it before these people everywhere on social media was even talking about Airbnb. But the one I really want to give you credit for, you was running Toro and a Toro play long before anybody even knew what Toro was.
And still doing it, bro, and still doing it. I'm not going nowhere because the thing about it, see, this is what I had to learn.
Yeah.
I had to learn to not be emotional attached to things. I needed to learn to invest in things that was going to yield me a return on my investment. So that brand new vehicle we got there, yes, I wanted to drive it myself, but at the end of the day, when I put it on Toro, not only will that client pay my monthly note, they're gonna the next client is gonna put money in my pocket, and the next client gonna put money in my pocket. So every single month, this vehicle is making me money as if there's another person in our household with a job. And see, for me, that was powerful, man.
Wait, that's powerful. Like it's another person.
Like it's another adult up in here bringing in income. Exactly.
I think we all could use another person in our household.
I know.
As far as the income, I don't want nobody in my house.
And the thing about it is, in this day and age, we don't have no excuses. We don't have no, man, we got Airbnb, we have Toro. You don't have to go out there and buy $100,000 property for it to make money for you.
Okay.
You don't. I bought a house for under $10,000 in Lawton, Oklahoma. Under $10,000. That house paid itself off in the first year on Airbnb. Now everything else, like the house pays for the utilities and all that stuff. You know, now everything else is just extra. So guess what? It's building money in that account for me to go and buy another property. So that's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Or we take the equity out of a home and use that to buy another property. But once we learned that, and it took somebody to see that we got messed over because we went to an event. I won't even say the name of the event because I don't want to bash nobody. We invested $30,000. I remember we went and got a loan for $30,000 just so we can be at this seminar. And they was up there. They had awesome speakers, but at the end of the day, when the mics turned off, we didn't get anything that we was promised, and we was just out of $30,000. So you can either get in your feelings about it, or you can just say, "Hey, I'm gonna make this thing work." And that's what we decided to do. We decided to make this thing work, and that's when we got really serious about Airbnbs and all that stuff. Man, we didn't have no experience.
None.
But
there's a whole lot in that little statement that you just made, right? Because you talk about leaping, you talk about taking, that jump off the cliff is for faith. Right. You're never going to know if you can fly until you jump.
Right.
And you did that with $30,000. I mean, you've done it so many other times. You've been successful, but particularly with that $30,000 leap. Right. What gave you the courage to even say, look, I'm going to invest in me once again, but I'm not going to allow something to hold me back. I'm just going to go for it.
The fact that what I was doing wasn't working. So I in my mind, if this is not working, I'm willing to try whatever, because I don't believe in failures. Either you're gonna succeed or you're gonna learn a lesson. And I've had some expensive classes, but at the end of the day, I don't regret anything, because if it wasn't for that $30,000 investment that I didn't get a return on, I probably never would have had the fire lit up under me, because seeing my wife disappointed about us just giving away this $30,000 and we not getting it, as a husband, it does something to you.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do about it? Since you're the king of the house, you're the head of the house. So we went to work, and I'm blessed to have somebody, not only just a wife, but when you have a partner that can say, hey, we getting off track. This is what we need to be doing. Yeah. Or I stayed up all night watching YouTube videos and TikTok videos, and this is what they saying that we not doing right. When you got a partner like that, man, it keeps you on track. So this has been a hell of a ride. But at the end of the day, man, we have multiple properties. We're blessed, and we're in a position now, Kev, that we even have employees. Man. I have an office in Lawton, Oklahoma with employees. Yeah. And I have people that go out and clean my Airbnbs and just being able to feed other families. And we came from where we came from.
Oh, I know, man.
So it's a humbling experience. And I never look down on anybody because it's rough. And you only know what you know. So if you don't have the discipline to get online and do the research yourself, it's kind of hard to win unless somebody pull you to the side and say, here, young brother, young sister, this is what you're not doing right, or this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
A mentor or something.
I appreciate you being one who actually gives back and gives that education. And you're really a shortcut for a lot of people, because they don't have to go through those pitfalls that you had to go through. They don't have to take those expensive classes that you had to take. They don't have to spend hours, flipping through books and going through mentorship programs. You are the shortcut. Right. And I appreciate you giving back to people the way you do.
Man, hey, look, and I love it, man. I'm constantly on TikTok now, man. I done got so well, I'm not good at TikTok, man. But for me, I go in my little garage. I got my whiteboard up, and I give a class on a dime. Like, give me a subject and I give a class, because I want people to understand how to do this stuff. Like, why is credit so important? They can come to Toya and get a house for cheaper and pay cheaper a month than what they're doing to rent. Your mortgage can be, all based off your credit, and things like that. So credit is powerful, man.
Yeah. Everything you've mentioned here, there's been a ton of success, a ton of growth, but it's all come from that one cornerstone, the credit piece.
Right.
And I keep seeing that, and I'm going to keep coming back to that, because so many people, they truly understood the value that comes with that credit, they would invest in themselves more. They would put more into that education than what they're currently doing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, man. It's such a small investment. It's such a small investment, man. 350 a month. I mean, 350 up front. You know, if we see that we can help you, because before we get into any money, any talk about money, we want to look at your credit report first. We want to see what's on your credit report. And if we see that we can help you, we'll tell you. If we see we can't help you, we'll tell you, you know, because at the end of the day, the last thing I need is somebody running around here bashing me because I done took their money and I couldn't help them. You know, and I think that's one of the reasons why we've been so successful, because of word of mouth advertisement. You know, I don't do a lot of marketing. I need to hire somebody for marketing. So if you know anybody, you know, but other than that, man, that's about it, man.
Yeah, and just like you talk about credit, your name is solid, your name is golden, and the things you're mentioning right now is that you're actually going to take the time to consult with somebody,
Right.
look at
For
their
free.
profile for free,
For
and
free.
see, can you help them first? And if you
Yeah.
can help them, then you're going to create the roadmap and the guidance that they're going to need so that they can use that one cornerstone to
Right.
get to all the other things that they're putting on their vision board. I know a lot of people who are posting up pictures. They might have on their cell phone, they got a picture of a Ferrari or Lamborghini or
Right.
something like that, but they're not doing the things necessary to get what it is that they got their eyes set on.
Right.
And the credit piece you keep mentioning is that one block that's going to get them started.
Yeah. Yeah. At the bare minimum, man, if a client decide not to go through with me, they keep the credit analysis, the game plan, the map that you was talking about. They keep that and they can work on it themselves. I even have a do-it-yourself kit.
Okay.
You know, so if the price is too steep for you, you know, whatever, time's rough, you know, hey, you get this do-it-yourself kit. So I've thought about all kind of ways that I can help a person, man. And everybody don't like trying to do it themselves. Everybody don't have that discipline. So there's a lot of people out there that say, hey, I just want you to do it for me. It's yours, you know.
Yeah.
But
Well, you're amazing, man. Like I said, you've always been an
brother, you're
inspiration to
amazing.
me.
I ain't finna, you're amazing. You
Thank
know,
you.
and that's why we've had a solid relationship so long, man, because you and your wife, and I'm seeing what your daughter doing also.
Yeah.
You know, and I love what you guys are doing, man. Kev, keep going with this podcast, brother. You man, I can say so many awesome things about you, bro. And Toya opening up her own brokerage company and things like that, man. You guys are more than what you probably think you are, man. So a lot of people are watching you and stuff, and Bridget will be reaching out to you guys also.
Okay. All right.
You know, so we're thinking about getting a place somewhere in Virginia area.
Okay.
You know, so we'll talk about that later.
All right. All right. Well, let's do it. Success Leaves Clues podcast. I like to point out a few clues, right? Help the guests out just a little bit. And I'm quite sure everybody that's listening to the audio version of the episode or watching it on YouTube, they're going to pick up their own clues. But some of the things that I've noticed that have really helped you be successful is you always had vision. No matter what position you was in, whether you're in the middle, the bottom, you're at the top, you're excelling, you always had a vision, not only for yourself, your family, and then also for your business. You've been willing to, number two, invest in yourself.
Right.
And that's not only education, but financially. You talked about it even with the credit. People have to be willing to take just a small monetary amount and invest that in themselves if they want to continue to grow and continue to be successful. And number three, just your grit, man. You're not going to stop. You don't let any roadblocks come up against you. I didn't even mention to everybody that you're also an actor. You've been in movies. I don't even want to. We'll save that for another one, man. But you've done so much, man. I'm just blown away, and like I said, I just really admire it. But everybody's going to take a lot away from this episode, and I hope they get in contact with you because you have just, so much education, so much knowledge that you can offer to people.
Anybody that contacts me and they watched this podcast, please reference Dr. Kevin Washington, because if it wasn't for him, a lot of us wouldn't get this exposure that we're getting. And again, I have to applaud this brother. He's doing some amazing things, bro. I love you. Keep moving like you're doing.
Thank you very much. And as always, if you dream it, you can achieve it. Until next time on Success Leaves Clues podcast.